Hi guys, if you are watching this video, you are watching today Prelien 101. This is for the state of Arizona. If you're watching this, you are likely a contractor working for a material supplier, or you're starting a new construction business. So today what we're going to talk about is the timing of the 20-day preliminary notice, why it is important, and what information is most necessary so then you get your most bang for your buck. So to start off, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jill Smith. I started my lien company in 2000. I have been doing preliminary notices now for, like this video, 18 years? And I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of ups, I've seen a lot of downs. We went through the 08-09 construction craziness. And I can tell you that preliminary notices saved a lot of contractors when it came time to get paid. So first off, 20-day preliminary notice. That is the official term. The nicknames for this document are going to be a pre-lien, a prelim notice, or just a 20-day notice. So what it is it's actually a letter. Preliminary notices, 20-day preliminary notices, I'm going to call them pre-liens for the whole rest of this video. Pre-liens are simply letters. They are letters that are sent out to everybody who's on the project that's involved with you. So let's pretend for this example that you are working on some sort of a commercial project. So this is our commercial project, and by the way, I'm not an artist, so you don't get to judge me on my art here. So we have our commercial project right here, okay? That's what you guys are working on. Somehow you're improving that property. You're either doing it as a professional, whether you're designing specs or different things like that. You're either physically improving it with flooring or walls or paint or drop ceilings or roofing, anything. You're improving the property. Guess what? This property has an owner. Somebody owns that property. Sometimes there is a lender, depending on the scope of the project, there may be a lender. The lender is giving money to the owner, right? The owner is giving money to the general contractor. The general contractor is hiring the subs. All right, subs, subs, subs. And chances are the subs are getting materials from suppliers, right? So now we have our suppliers. These ones are suppliers. These ones are suppliers. So the project has a lot of different players, and you're somewhere on this board. You're likely either a subcontractor, you're working for a supplier, you might even be the GC yourself. So what happens is that when we send out these 20-day preliminary notices, I'm going to be, this sub right here is my client. He does framing today. Today, we are going to send out the letter for him. We are going to mail it to the general contractor, we're going to mail it to the owner, and we're going to mail it to the lender. And that letter is essentially going to state that this lumber subcontractor is doing lumber, materials, and labor on this project for the dollar amount that his contract is, and that if he's not paid, that he has the right or the option to put a lien on the property. A lien means he still will own part of his lumber, the lumber, the part that he improved, he'll be able to own part of that property if he's not paid. Now, why is this important? Well, if we don't send preliminary notices at all, and everybody does their job, but for some reason the GC, things go sideways and he can't pay, or maybe there's a sub here and he has problems, financial, I don't know, like lots of things can go wrong. If he can't pay, everybody underneath him is going to have an issue. But it's not really their fault or their responsibility. They still improved the property. They need to get paid. And so when you look at the whole way that the system is put together, the legislatures did a really great job of making sure that when contractors and suppliers improve property, that they have the right to get paid for the work that they're doing. So now the question is, When do you set, so now you know who gets to send the preliminary notices. GCs, subs, suppliers. Sometimes there's a sub of a sub, so maybe this sub hires this sub, and he hires a supplier, right? Everybody gets to send preliminary notices. The owner now is receiving a whole bunch of letters from everybody on the project, and the owner knows who is working there. The owner only knows the general contractor. The general contractor only knows the people that they hired. You don't know the people underneath them. And so when you send the notice, you're letting, if you're sending a notice here as the sub of a sub, you're letting the GC and the owner know that you are improving the property and that you need to get paid. And they want to receive these notices because now they get to ask for waivers. We'll talk about waivers in just a minute. Okay, so now we're going to talk about timing. Oh man, this doesn't even erase very well. All right, the timing in which to send your 20-day preliminary notice. If your project is starting here, and we're going to call this day 1, all right? And when I say starting, it's when you are starting the project, because every trade is going to be starting at a different time. So when you start improving the project, that is your day 1. As we look at our time frame and our calendar here, we're going to pretend this is day 30, and the project is still going on. This is a long project. If on we've got day 10 right here, and we've got day 20 right here. So in a perfect world, you're mailing your notice probably by day 10, for sure by day 20, because when you send your letter, and it means, when I say send, it has to be in the mail by the 20th day, calendar day. When you send it by the 20th day, your Arizona 20-day preliminary notice has a look-back period of 20 days. So this goes back, and you now have lien rights to all the work that you did through that whole entire time frame, okay? Which is great. And moving forward, all the work you do throughout the whole project, you said, hey, it's $10,000 worth of work that I'm doing, so it goes back, it captures back to your start date, and keeps going. If you were to send it on your 10th day, it essentially will go back, but it can't go back 20 days because you only worked for 10, so it still goes back right to day 1, captures that, and everything moving forward, you have your time frame moving forward. Let's pretend you don't send your notice until your 30th day. Oh, like you forgot, things were happening. Guess what? That happens sometimes. It's not ideal. It only has a 20-day look-back period. So this, let's remember, we didn't do these ones right here. This is going to go back 20 days to the 10th day. It'll give you lien rights, everything moving forward. But these first 10 days that you worked, you technically don't have lien rights to those first 10 days. Hopefully your pay applications and your payments and your invoices will catch up with your lien rights. In that case, oftentimes on big projects it does. But you can't lien for the whole thing. You can only lien for going back 20 days and then everything moving forward. I should have said this at the very beginning of the video. As much as I have a lot of experience doing preliminary notices and doing liens, the information I'm giving you is all just information. I am not an attorney and I can't give legal advice, so I can't tell you what you should do for a specific project. I can give you general information on what you need to do to help protect yourself and make sure that you get paid. So one of the questions that I get a lot from my clients is, if they send a preliminary notice, is it going to make their customer mad? Is everybody going to get mad because they think that you don't trust them or you don't think that you're going to get paid? And my answer to that is twofold. One, if you are sending a preliminary notice because you don't think you're going to get paid, then I really think you should evaluate whether or not you want to do this project. Because if that's your concern, if getting paid is your concern, then this probably isn't a project you want to work on anyways, because likely you're not going to get paid. The second part is that preliminary notices, the law for preliminary notices is almost 40 years old. Preliminary notices have been sent in the way that they are right now for the last 40 years. It is standard operating procedure to send out preliminary notices. Everybody does it. Your suppliers likely send out preliminary notices. The contractors are getting preliminary notices from lots of subs and lots of suppliers. And let's pretend for just a second that a project does go sideways. So let's imagine that you're a general contractor and you have some suppliers and subs that did not send preliminary notices, and you have some of them that did send preliminary notices, and you have a limited amount of money that you have right now to give to people, right, to hand out and like pay. So who are you going to pay first? Are you going to pay your buddies that you like, that you work with the most? Or are you going to pay the people that can likely make your life miserable by recording a lien against the property and making it like a little bit harder for you? I honestly know that of our clients that send preliminary notices, less than 1% of them have to go and record mechanics liens, because sending preliminary notices is effective in getting you paid. Now, I need to tell you just a little bit, I right now am the president of National Lien Services. We love sending preliminary notices, we love working with our clients, but you don't have to use us. You can send your own preliminary notices, just like you can get your own LLC, you can do your own corporate taxes, you can do a lot of stuff on your own. The question is do you want to? So while you're looking at the option of either doing it yourself or using a service to do it for you, keep in mind that 20-day preliminary notices are routine. Everyone's doing them. They help protect you. They set you apart. You actually come off more professional when you're sending off preliminary notices. And the time frame in which to send them. Waivers, I said I was going to talk about waivers. You likely have already signed waivers. If you've done any work in the state of Arizona, the general contractor or owner is writing you a check and they're saying, come sign this waiver, or sign this waiver and then we'll give you a check. The waiver is basically a document that says that you give up your lien rights. The preliminary notice is a document that you send at the beginning saying, I have lien rights. So it's a check and a balance. And which waivers to sign based on which payments you're getting, that's a whole nother video. But 20-day preliminary notices, really easy. Send them within the first 20 days for the state of Arizona. Send them on all of your projects. At least decide how much can you afford to eat. If you're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in projects, is it really worth it to not spend, $30 or less on a 20-day preliminary notice and get it out? I mean, the price for services is going to vary a little bit, but I imagine that for the money that you're going to spend, to have the information all on there correctly is going to be well worth it. My last point is information. So if you remember on my last, I erased it, but lender, owner, general contractor. It's really important to get the correct owner of the property. You need to know who the owner of the property is. If you don't, your lien service should research and find through public record who owns that property that you're working on. That owner, or the reputed owner, the person who's paying taxes on that property, they need to receive this document in order for you to have lien rights. So the owner, the lender also, if there's a lender on a project, they need to receive it as well. Again, there's public documents that you can find, or your lien service can find, that will say who the construction lender is. The general contractor of the project needs to receive the 20-day preliminary notice. All of that research is going to be done by your lien service, or if you're doing it yourself, you need to go find all of that to make sure you're sending it to the right people. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this pre-lien 101 video. I appreciate it. Again, my name is Jill Smith. I'm with National Lien Services, and you can contact me through my website or by calling me directly, 480-428-3523. Thank you so much. Have a great day.